I'm Kamal. So I'll spend the next 15 minutes in describing our extended abstract, physics-informed deep learning for well-test analysis. I'll start that by introducing my co-authors, Balakrishna DR, Avijit Das, Kirti Ashwin, and Vani Sivasankaran from Infosys, and Soundararajan Rajendran from RKM Vivekananda College. Well-test analysis. What is well-test analysis? It is a section of reservoir engineering that best describes the reservoir characteristics with the principles of fluid flow in porous media using pressure transient analysis. The transient pressure distribution of a fluid flowing through the wellbore across a porous reservoir model can be best described by solving its fundamental partial differential equation, the diffusivity equation, at a constant flow rate using the boundaries of the reservoir model. Now, this diffusivity equation contains a nonlinear term, and so typically it's solved by ignoring the quadratic nonlinear term by analytical approach and thus compromising on the accuracy, or it's solved using the numerical methods where it's complex and time consuming. So the abstract is we are trying to propose a neural network based approach where it is easy to model well-test analysis for different reservoir scenarios to determine the reservoir pressure. And we've considered one specific case for this study. I'll just elaborate that case as depicted in this diagram, the left-hand side. So let's consider a perfectly radial, homogeneous, and isotropic reservoir system with uniform thickness H, drainage results RE, and uniform initial pressure PI before the production. A vertical producing well of radius RW is drilled through the center of the reservoir and produces at a constant rate Q naught. These terms are depicted in the diagram. An incompressible single phase fluid with constant viscosity mu naught and fluid volume factor B naught flows radially through the vertical well. And the flow is considered to be laminar with no gravity effects. This flow creates a change in pressure profile across the reservoir. And for the study, we consider a circular area of investigation at a radius R from the wellbore for determining the reservoir pressure. We do consider a couple of boundary conditions. Number one, the formation produces at a constant rate into the wellbore. And point two, there is no flow across the outer boundary of the reservoir. So these are our boundary conditions, right, for this study. So by combining the three equations, the continuity equation, the transport equation, and the compressibility equation with the boundary conditions that I just described, we could arrive at this nonlinear diffusivity equation that you can see on the screen. And the objective is, if I have to summarize, the idea is to predict the pressure P given the radius R and time T as an input. I'll move on to the next slide. Before I could describe our technique on how to model well-test analysis, I'll spend a couple of minutes in describing all other solutions that were identified for solving diffusivity equation for well-test analysis for various different reservoir conditions and its different boundary conditions, right? There are two categories of solutions as I described in the beginning. One, there are certain reservoir cases where the contribution of the quadratic nonlinear term is insignificant. And so they typically ignore that and then solve the diffusivity equation, the linear diffusivity equation for various reservoir cases. The second set of scenarios are where the contribution of the nonlinear quadratic term is significant and it has to be honored while solving it for modeling the well-test analysis. So let's go through the solution based on linear diffusivity equation. So there are two prominent approaches that people adopted in solving the linear diffusivity equation. One is they transformed your linear diffusivity equation into a linear diffusivity equation of dimensionless forms. That means they replace the pressure, radius, and time with PD, RD, and TD of dimensionless forms accordingly, right, respectively. And once they transform to that form, in another study extended this approach and solve the solution for the pressure distribution of two reservoir types, infinite acting reservoir and finite radial reservoir, as represented in the first row of this slide. The second approach to solve a linear diffusivity equation is to use exponential integral function solution. And a researcher, a study solved the solution and depicted the reservoir pressure. In another study, extended that and simplified it for a specific range of EI parameter values by log approximation. And that's what you see in the second row. So these are the key solutions that people solved from linear diffusivity equation. Now, when you look at the reservoir cases where we need to consider the nonlinear diffusivity equation as it is, right? The first solution, they solve for a radial nonlinear PDE. So to determine the pressure distribution for a large diameter injector well for a constant pressure and constant flow rate, for constant pressure and constant flow rate for an inner boundary condition, whereas the outer boundary condition, pressure can be infinite, closed, or constant. And in this slide, we just depicted one solution, but otherwise the study has found solutions for all the combinations of the outer boundary conditions with respect to the assumed inner boundary condition. The second set of solution is where the researchers solved for nonlinear real space flow equation, right? And they solved using Weber transform. And they also solved for different other reservoir cases using Henkel transform and so on. But the key observation there is they for a longer time, right? For a shorter time values, the significance of the nonlinear quadratic term is, it's not significant, right? And but for a longer time, they found that when they plotted the curve of the solution derived from a linear diffusivity, and when they plotted another curve derived from a nonlinear diffusivity, they found that the difference between these two curves is 8%. So that denotes the significance of the nonlinear term for this specific reservoir case, right? And the last solution that I want to highlight is the solution for one-dimensional seepage flow problem with threshold pressure gradient, which depicts an unconventional reservoir with low permeability and low porosity by constructing a moving boundary, right? So these are the different solutions for modeling well test analysis for various different reservoir cases with its own boundary conditions, right? Well, now for this reservoir, specific reservoir that I described in the second slide, so here is our solution, right? And to generate data for that specific reservoir case, we actually used one analytical solution that was solved from a linear diffusivity equation, and that we just mentioned in the previous slide. So this is that equation. And for our initial condition and boundary conditions, we generated data. And all the cells that are colored in blue, I hope you can see the color clearly. All the cells that are colored in blue are your initial and the boundary conditions. And we just picked 100 values from these boundary conditions, and we want to train our neural network model. Before we could start with physics informed neural network model, we want to try the same approach with your traditional neural network model, right? And we use the same 100 data sets, data points for training a traditional neural network model. And we used, so I'll explain the model architecture when I go to the physics informed neural network. So we used the 100 data values, and we trained a model. And it's a low resource condition because 100 values are too less to model the well test analysis for determining the pressure distribution, right? And under this situation, the model performs poorly. The RMSE value is 1.69, which is little decent. But during extrapolation, the model performs very poorly. So it's nowhere close to the expected values. That's because, as we all know, your traditional neural network demands huge volume of high quality historical data for it to model the data set. Because in low resource conditions, it tends to overfit the training data, and it starts performing poorly during extrapolation. Now the technique is the most popular paper, right? The physics informed deep learning. So they provided a technique to enforce your physics law which is typically represented as your partial differential equation, into the neural network to restrain the space of acceptable machine learning solutions. So we adopted the same physics-informed deep learning. In fact, the neural network architecture also, we mimic the architecture that they used, which is 10 hidden layers and where they have 20 neurons per hidden layer. I know it's very deep and wide neural network for modeling such a small data set, but we just want to mimic exactly their model architecture to study their performance on well-test analysis. And so even for the traditional neural network, we use that. And for physics-informed neural network also, we use the same model architecture. In addition to the loss function, what we used for traditional neural network, the mean squared error, we used the linear diffusivity equation also in the loss function. And the reason why we picked a linear diffusivity equation over a non-linear diffusivity equation is that this data is generated from a solution that was derived from a linear diffusivity equation. And so since we are planning to validate this results against the data that is generated from that solution from a linear diffusivity, we used linear diffusivity equation in the loss function. And when we tried that, the RMSE value came down to 0.28 and the system started performing better even during extrapolation. I'll go to the next slide. So there are three charts. In chart one, you have three series. The series one, which is in blue, represents the actual values. Series two, which is plotted using red, represents the prediction from your traditional neural network. The series three in green represents the performance of a physics-informed neural network. And as it's evident that your physics-informed neural network continue to perform better even during extrapolation. But we also want to plot it to study the impact of non-conformance to the PDE and the accuracy and the model prediction, right? And so what we did is we plotted the same values in chart 2, where we were not worried about the direction of the prediction, but we just want to study the magnitude of the prediction error. So we did a mod of actual value minus predicted value and we plotted. And as you saw in chart 1, here also you can see that your traditional neural network has more magnitude of error for most of the times compared to the traditional neural network. Plot 3 represents non-conformance to the PD. So how this is measured is even during inference time, we calculated the value of the error due to, we measured the error based on the diffusivity function, right? So even during the inference time. So when we measured that, we got the value for that loss, right? And ideally that should be 0. If your model is conformant to that particular partial differential equation, that error should be 0. But we can see that your physics-informed neural network is compliant with the PDE, but your traditional neural network is non-compliant to that PDE. And when we compare the plot 2 and the plot 3, it's evident that non-conformance to the PDE contributes to the prediction error in plot 2. Right? And all these things are possible. We were able to do all these things easily because of the support for automatic differentiation from the likes of Julia and TensorFlow, which allows us to differentiate the neural networks with respect to the input parameters and the model parameters. Well, so hence my the observation is the well-test analysis for different reservoir conditions with its own defined diffusivity equation and boundary conditions can be modeled using physics-informed neural networks, which is easier than other traditional techniques that we discussed above.